Director Shaw's question about my sister Angela sparks a sharp denial, revealing a hidden rift. Shaw, sensing the tension, avoids a potential issue. I secretly send DNA samples overseas, distrusting local labs, driven by a need for certainty and a past shrouded in caution. Justin's urgent, unexplained request for me to pick up Pete amplifies the underlying sense of danger. Meanwhile, Angela and Lisa await their interview schedule, their contrasting personalities hinting at a competitive dynamic. Will Angela's manipulation secure her place? Will Lisa's efforts be rewarded? And will Nora ever reconcile with her past and forgive Angela and her father? Both Angela and Lisa had received the interview announcements. If Director Shaw and Angela had indeed established a rapport, as Angela claimed, the interview would likely be a mere formality. Angela, brimming with confidence, wasn't nervous in the slightest. Lisa, on the other hand, breathed a sigh of relief as she examined the interview schedule. The interviews were set for the same day, and the admission results would be released soon after. Angela's eyes gleamed with a predatory light. She sat up, a wicked plan forming in her mind. She quietly peeked out of the bathroom door, ensuring Lisa was still engrossed in her studies. With stealthy movements, Angela slipped off the bed and crept over to Lisa's school bag. She rummaged through its contents, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and guilt. She found Lisa's ID card and admission ticket, carefully wrapped them in a tissue, and secreted them away in her own bag. Lisa, unaware of Angela's treachery, made diligent preparations for her interview the following day. The hotel was conveniently located near the university, so the walk to the interview venue took only 10 minutes. Upon entering the university building, they navigated the crowded hallways and finally arrived at the designated interview room. Angela, her confidence radiating, took out her admission ticket and ID card and waited to be called. The interview, she knew, would consist of a brief self-introduction and a self-evaluation, both of which she had practiced extensively. Lisa, her face pale with nervousness, suddenly stood up, her eyes wide with alarm. "Where's my ID card? My admission ticket? Have you seen them, Angela?" Angela pursed her lips, feigning ignorance. "Why are you asking me about your ID card? It's not like I stole it." "That's not what I meant," Lisa stammered, her voice trembling. Panic tightened its grip on her chest, her voice barely a whisper. She said, "Give me the hotel key, Angela. I need to go back and look for them." Angela, her eyes gleaming with a strange satisfaction, raised an eyebrow in mock concern. "Of course, Lisa. Here you go." She handed over the key card with a flourish. Lisa took the card and fled, her footsteps echoing in the hallway. As soon as Lisa was gone, Angela stood up and walked with a purposeful stride towards the nearest bathroom. She retrieved Lisa's admission ticket and ID card from her bag and unceremoniously tossed them into the trash can. Her task completed, she left the bathroom, her steps light and her demeanor refreshed and invigorated. Soon her name was called, and it was her turn for the interview. After some time, when Angela emerged from the interview room, a triumphant smirk plastered on her face, she happened to see an out-of-breath Lisa running back from the hotel. Lisa was desperately explaining her plight to the staff member in charge of the interview schedule. "I'm so sorry," she pleaded, her voice choked with tears. "This interview means everything to me. Is there any way I can still go in?" The staff member sighed, his expression weary. "If you'd only lost the admission ticket, I could have used your ID card to print a replacement at the last minute. But since you've lost both, I'm afraid my hands are tied. You'll have to reapply next year." Tears streamed down Lisa's face. "But that means I've wasted a whole year. Please, sir, could you ask the committee if they'll make an exception? I came all the way from California for this." Defeated and heartbroken, Lisa stumbled behind her, her shoulders slumped in despair. However, as they walked towards the exit, her eyes suddenly widened. She had spotted a familiar-looking SUV parked just outside the entrance. It was me. Fully dressed in black, I leaned leisurely against the car, my posture exuding an effortless confidence. Students and passers-by found their gazes drawn to me, a silent acknowledgement of the aura of power and mystery that surrounded me. Lisa, her eyes widening in surprise, was the first to break the spell. She called out tentatively, "Nora?" I finally lifted my head, my attention shifting from the phone screen to Lisa's tear-streaked face. I finished what I was doing on the phone and then asked, my voice calm and steady, "What's wrong?" The concern in my tone, The unwavering focus of my gaze made Lisa feel like a lost child who had finally found a beacon of hope. Her composure crumbled. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she stammered, her voice thick with emotion. I lost my ID card and admission ticket. I remained silent for a moment, absorbing the information. I had come to the school today because I knew Lisa's interview was scheduled. I hadn't anticipated this situation, this blatant act of sabotage. Lisa looked emotionally deflated, her shoulders slumped in defeat. But now, she desperately needed my help. Not to secure her admission, but simply to give her a chance to attend the interview she deserved. Before she could even voice her request, I stepped forward, my movements decisive. As I passed her by, I offered a simple, unwavering directive. Come with me. Angela, however, stood her ground, her face a mask of suspicion and defiance. What are you doing, Nora? The staff member already said he wouldn't let her in. Don't tell me you're going to use your connections. It won't work. I turned to her, my expression impatient, my voice laced with a warning edge. You're being so loud, Angela. I'm starting to get a headache. Angela's face flushed with anger. But I cut her off, my gaze hardening, my voice a chilling promise. If you don't shut up, I'll make sure you can't say another word. My eyes, usually cool and composed, now burned with a cold intensity, tinged with a weariness born of too little sleep and too much drama. Angela, sensing the threat, wisely remained silent. The staff member, who recognized us from earlier, stopped us with a weary sigh. Please show me your ID card and admission ticket. It was at that moment that I stepped forward. I held up my phone, the screen displaying a specific page on the university's website, and showed it to the staff member. Is there something I can help you with, Dr. Athena? He asked, his voice almost reverent. I took back my phone, a subtle smirk playing on my lips. I had shown him my official designation as an honorary professor at the university. It was a position that carried significant weight within the institution. I gestured towards Lisa, my voice calm and authoritative. Can an electronic copy of her ID card serve as sufficient proof of identity? The staff member didn't hesitate. Of course, Dr. Athena. I'll go consult with the committee immediately. Okay, I replied, my tone dismissive, as if this were a minor inconvenience easily resolved. 5 minutes later, the staff member returned, his face radiating relief. Miss Black, you are welcome to proceed with your interview now. Lisa's face bloomed with gratitude. She offered me a shaky smile and hurried towards the interview room. The interview didn't take long. Lisa emerged from the room about 10 minutes later, her face etched with despair. Angela, her smugness returning, pounced on Lisa's distress. I told you not to bother with the interview, but you insisted. Aren't you embarrassed now? Lisa remained silent, her shoulders slumped in defeat. She heaved a huge, shuddering sigh. The interview results were typically announced on the same day, so the two of them lingered, waiting for the verdict. The wait, however, was testing my patience. I had other things to do. I'll come back later this afternoon, I announced, turning to leave. Lisa nodded, too consumed by her anxiety to offer a coherent reply. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, all the candidates finished their interviews. Another half hour later, the final admission results were released. Will Angela get what she wants, or will Lisa get her due? How will I deal with Angela looming around me? Will Director Shaw accept or reject Angela's application?